सुन पा रहे हैं जी, please.
Okay. Welcome to all the participants on the 5th day of this international webinar on education. I am Dr. Brijendra Singh Rajawat from Central Agriculture University, Imphal. I am the founder member of FCRS. So on behalf of FCRS and Chetna, I welcome all of the distinguished participants uh, uh, with Sister Jayanti, Director, Brahma Kumari UK and Middle East, and NGO represent to the United Nations. So welcome, sister.
Thank you.
I also welcome Dr. Ravindra Singh, Senior Scientist and Program Officer, Mental Health and Disability Rehabilitation, ICMR, New Delhi. I also welcome Dr. Gaurav Kumar Datta, Principal and Counselor, Psychologist, College of Special Education and Research, Sri Ganganagar, Rajasthan. I also welcome Dr. Vijay Grover, Associate Award. I also welcome Mr. V.K. Sareen, sir, Director, DSP Education Technology, ex-Vice Principal and HOD, DAV College, Jalandhar. So once again, welcome to all of you. I want to know that this is the 5th day. So on 5th day, total up to today, around 2,000 enrollment is done. So this is good, and I hope this 6 days webinar will be very fruitful to all the participants as well as nations and international level. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brijendra ji, for the welcome note. And I would like to request all the participants who have joined this session to please keep your mics muted throughout the session until there is an interactive session at the end of when speakers have finished their speeches, their presentations. Only after that, to ask something, you can unmute your mic. सभी से विनम्र निवेदन है कि अपना माइक प्लीज थ्रू आउट द सेशन, जब स्पीकर्स बोल रहे हो तो अपना माइक प्लीज म्यूट रखिए क्योंकि बहुत डिस्टरबेंस होता है. And I would like to welcome Sister B.K. Jayanti Didi, Dr. Ravinder Singh ji, Dr. Gaurav Kumar Datta ji, Dr. Vijay Grover ji, and Mr. V.K. Sareen sir ji, who are the speakers of this special education session today. And my request to all the speakers to please restrict your presentation time from 10 to 15 minutes, not beyond that, because there has to be, after your presentation, we need to take question answers and an interactive question answer session at the end when all the speakers finish with their presentation. So that is my request to all of you. And now I would like to invite Sister B.K. Jayanti Didi for this special education session. Somebody has rightly said, some see the disabilities, but special education teachers see the possibilities. Yes, it takes someone special to teach someone special. It's my proud privilege to invite Sister B.K. Jayanti Didi ji, Director Brahma Kumaris, UK, Europe and Middle East, and NGO representative to the United Nations. She is a renowned yogini, author and environmentalist. We are honored to have you here, Didi, amongst us, and I invite you to please give your presentation for this day. We are waiting to listen to you.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, Didi, we can hear you.
Okay.
Please switch on your video. Yes. Yes.
Can you see?
Yes.
Okay, that's okay.
Yes, it's fine.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for the very warm welcome that we've been receiving. And I also want to say Om Shanti, a greeting of peace to all my sisters and my brothers who have joined us this morning. And yes, special needs require special teachers. And not to see the disabilities, but to see the possibilities is a very wonderful mantra to begin with. What I would like to share is something else, a little bit different. And that is to say that I think that in every situation, and especially in a situation of special needs, the teacher as well as the student would benefit greatly if there were time given to self-reflection, self-awareness, an inner journey in which the teacher can develop the inner powers and the possibilities of being able to explore a huge treasure store of patience, love, care, and compassion that they have. And the pupil also, if they're taught to have even maybe just a very short pause for peace, and this is something we've introduced in many, many schools across the world. What we found is that if there's a little bit of reflection time built in within the normal timetable of the school, then that reflection time becomes something that's very much appreciated by all the pupils. They look forward to that. And some schools even have, and I'm talking about normal schools, but it can also be applied to special needs schools. If we can have maybe even just 2-3 minutes every hour on the hour, a time for silent reflection and a pause for peace. And maybe what can happen is a guided commentary to be able to allow the teacher to relax and also the pupils to relax. And at the end of 3 minutes, you begin your subject with a fresh awareness and a renewed energy. It's like a very quick recharging of the inner battery. And when we do this, then we find that the communication between teacher and pupil is of a different quality now because we've shared time together in silence, in reflection, and so we've learned how to communicate not just through words but through silence. My experience with many of those who have special needs is that communication with words is quite a challenge for them for various reasons. They're not so receptive to that, but they can feel the power of love. They can feel your patience equally. They can feel your impatience, or they can feel your aggression. And so, very, very important to be able to just have that very deep awareness and understanding that communication is happening on a level which is beyond sound. For example, if I look you straight in the eye, there's a very different feeling than if I'm looking somewhere else and saying something. If I'm trying to give you a book or a pencil or anything, again, if I look you straight in the eye and I give you something, there's greater value attached to that because it's my own personal involvement and engagement with you at that time. Otherwise, I could be just handing out sheets of paper and it's got nothing to do with me and there's no contact being made. But actually connecting with another in this way means that there's a very beautiful rapport that's established. And so, and it doesn't even need to give something or anything. But in that time of pause for peace, just begin with just a moment of silence for yourself and a moment of silence for everyone in the classroom, whether it's 1 or 2 or 5 or more, it doesn't matter. And just look around and give them your love through your eyes. Love is communicated through the eyes, but equally aggression is communicated through the eyes. And so you don't have to say anything, you don't have to do anything. The one with special needs picks it up even more acutely than other normal pupils because they're attuned in different way to be able to pick up signals. And so very often it's not the logical mind that's functioning, it's not reason that's functioning, it's vibrations that are being picked up, and the feelings that are being triggered in the pupil are going to determine the caliber, the extent to which that individual is able to absorb what is being taught. And so I know that for teachers in particular, learning how to meditate, learning to practice Raj Yoga, for example, which is a very simple type of meditation in which it's possible to have absolutely direct link with the one above. And it's not religious per se, in the sense that whatever is my understanding of the divine, let me connect with the divine so that I'm allowing that divine energy to reach me and fill me. But I'm also allowing that divine energy to reach out into the group that I'm with so that that energy is able to hold us all together in this safety cocoon in which we're all able to benefit. And so, yes, I'm putting a lot on the teacher because I think that this is very important. It's the teacher who holds the vibration, the environment, the culture, and the values. This is so absolutely vital. And the teacher, in contact with their own inner being, is able to access the original natural qualities of the inner being. And I see those qualities as being the quality of peace, of love, of truth, of purity, and joy. These are the essential values that comprise the human soul. And whatever is the condition of the physical body, or even whatever is the condition of the brain, it's qualities that are there latent in every human being, whatever the condition externally may be. And so when I, as the teacher, can connect with those qualities within myself, and I'm able to reach out to the other, not seeing the disabilities, but seeing the opportunities, the possibilities. And in particular, what I'm seeing is the beauty of the spirit. I'm seeing these amazing qualities of beauty, goodness, and love and truth in every single human being, every individual. And when I see another with that vision, I evoke something very special in them. They begin to respond with that love. See another individual, another human being, just carelessly, offhand, and not making a connection. But when you see the other soul, the inner being, what you're doing is connecting with the inner being, and you're awakening the desire to come closer, the desire to engage. And then, yes, that's a very good starting point. And so I'm thoroughly recommending this beginning of the day with that period of silence, reflection time. If it's at all possible to have that every hour on the hour, that makes a huge, huge difference. Pupil also learns to connect the highest potential within their own inner world. And when they are doing this, of course, then they feel very elevated, and it carries them beyond their limitations also. Education has been slated as being creatures within being allowed to emerge. And usually, what we find in education today, we think that here's an empty box and we have to fill it with a lot of things. Not true. The child, every child, comes with a set of qualities and values that are latent within the soul, latent within the inner world. And as educators, what we're doing is allowing that highest to emerge. Our vision focused on those highest qualities means that there's a greater possibility for the pupil also to start those qualities. I think that this is something very, very important, and do hope that some of you will experiment with this and find out more about this. And thank you so much for the opportunity of sharing with you. Post-COVID, what will happen is that people will find that situations are actually probably more difficult than they were before. When things will get back to normality, no one's able to predict. And what is normal, again, how far were we from normal, or were we normal before? Again, it's a big question mark. But I do know that allowing our own inner resources to emerge in this way is a tremendous preparation to do something of value for the self and for everyone else around me. Thank you for giving me your attention. Om Shanti. Namaskar.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Didi. Thanks so much for your empowering and inspiring words. I have a question for you, that how we can empower special students with the help of spirituality.
My vision changes with spirituality. And so I'm seeing the one in front of me as a soul. I'm not seeing the limitations of their physical form. Maybe it's hands and legs, maybe it's eyes, maybe it's ears, whatever it is. But I'm seeing that living being, the soul in this human being. And so my vibrations and my inherent love for that human being is going to reach them and allow them to be open to studying and open to learning and to be able to move forward.
Yes, the true. Thank you so much. And I would request our participants, if you have any questions for Jayanti Devi, please put them in the chat box so that we can take up the questions. Anyone? Didi, as you are being coordinating so many centers abroad, and how we want to know that how the teachers or the organizations and the schools, they treat special children and how they empower them to come up in their lives for their development and growth.
They've been able to go deep within the self and use a huge amount of love, not seeking to take anything from the pupil. And I don't mean that on an external gross level, but always when there's a teacher and a pupil relationship, the teacher responds when they see the pupil responding to them. But now, in this case, they're not looking for any type of feedback in that sense, but they know that they need to have an unlimited amount of love in which they're just giving and giving and giving. And also having patience, because sometimes we run out of patience. We've got so many things to do, so many things in our heads, we forget that patience is absolutely fundamental in this relationship of those with special needs. They won't be able to pick up as others. They might take a little bit of time. I might have to repeat myself. I might have to take a little pause so that they can digest slowly whatever it is I've been sharing with them. So our teachers have found that because of their own meditation, they've been able to develop a greater amount of love and a greater amount of patience And so they're far, far more capable of responding to the needs of the pupils.
Thank you so much, Didi, for your empowering and inspiring words. It's really great honor to have you today on this session on day 5 of FCRS International Webinar. I thank you from the core of my heart for giving your precious time. And of course, it's truly said as Didi's words, the secret in education lies in respecting the student. Yes, when teachers and everyone else respect the students and we see them as our family, as souls, then only it is possible to teach the special children and fulfill their overall growth and development. And next amongst us, we have the next speaker of the day, Mr. VK Sarinji, who is Director, DSB Education Technology, ex-Vice Principal and HOD, PG Department of Commerce, DAV College, Jalandhar, Punjab. I invite VK Sareen sir for his presentation on this day 5 of FCRS International Webinar. Sareen sir, can you hear me? VK Sareen sir, your presentation is getting ready. Vijay Sareen sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes sir, I can hear you now. Yes.
Yeah. Good morning, all, dear participants. First of all, I'm thankful and obliged to Dr. D.P. Singh, General Secretary, FCRS, Yeshwant Patel ji, President, Chetna Jadal of International Education, and the moderator, Ms. Karam, for extending me this invitation to be a resource person on 5th day of International Webinar. Theme of webinar is Post-Corona Era, Dimensions in Education. Though the session is for special education, which specifically caters to special needs of special children, but I find that one of the disabilities, that is emotional disturbance. And as we are all aware that due to coronavirus, COVID-19, starting from December 31st onward, which has almost affected 190 countries of the world, and it has basically disrupted each and every aspect of our life all over the globe. It's really a challenge for the humanity to cope with this situation. Myself, director at empoweryouth.com, was specifically preparing something for the students in higher education to help them in placements and other things. But when on March 22nd, first curfew was announced, we had to change our plans because we find, as per IMF estimates, it's very difficult to predict how much colossal loss will be there to the world economy. But we find around ourselves that lot of damage is already done. Due to limited time, I will not go into those details. But the greatest challenge is with educational institutions. I have kept the title of my presentation, Extraordinary is the New Ordinary. In the traditional system, people considered books as the last source of knowledge. There was structured classroom and physical interaction with the teachers. That was a norm. But in present times, I would call it post-corona era because the worst is yet to come. As we see, the number of cases are increasing, not only in India, but all over the world. Worst affected USA, most of countries of the Europe, And again, in India, we are reaching alarming proportions. And certainly it has disturbed our previous academic session and current academic session 2021. There are fears that it may be washed away, though now we have started after lockdown 4, it is now unlockdown period, first one. But there is no clarity and there is no decision at what time the educational institutions will reopen. In fact, every student, every parent, everyone connected with education, whether the faculty, whether the heads of the institution, all stakeholders, they are worried, not only in India, all over the world. And naturally, since last 2.5 months, most of the teachers and educational institutions, they have just started experimenting online classes and other things. But it is more of a fad. We are doing these things in a very unplanned manner. There are a lot of problems in that. And to the existing curriculum which was there is need to restructure everything. There comes the role of Ministry of Human Resource Development, UGC, AICT, educational boards, universities, colleges, schools, everyone, and particularly at the school level, parents are worried and they are in double mind whether to send their kids to the school this year or we can postpone it for next year. That is why I say that there is emotional disturbance. And naturally, in such a scenario, the best thing is to resort to online modes available. Next slide. Next slide. So, what was considered next? I have discussed what was considered ordinary, that was books, physical classrooms, chalk and talk method, and traditional exam system. And all of us are well aware how the exams have been disrupted. At present, most of entrance exams postponed, most of university exams not started, and even board exams stuck in between. Next, please. And what is considered new ordinary? That is, we have to adopt a blended model. It will be a mixture of traditional plus new. And naturally, in blended model, we have to use various modern means which involve online education, which involve online courses. Though there are initiatives by the government, by the UGC regarding books and other things, there are many websites and even Coursera, Intern Shala for skill development, empoweryouth.com, who are trying to make available to the students various online courses at a very cheaper rate. And now people are using various meeting forms like we are holding this webinar. There are conferences, virtual meetings. So these are the new things which are to be blended. And since the threat is not yet over, we have to naturally evolve a system where most of teaching takes place through online mode. And it is not only teaching, the new things, online classes, online courses, e-books. Now there are applications available where you can download e-books because there is a fear that if you touch anything and there is fear of coronavirus getting into you. And the next thing is online exams, though most of the institutions are not prepared for that, but things are being evolved now. Next, please. So this COVID-19 has turned the tide and it has disrupted our educational delivery system and the learning system. And actually, the extraordinary, which is the new ordinary, that I suggest, and actually most of our planners, they have already decided this thing. If we see the developments in other countries, like Denmark was the first to start their school, what type of social distancing norms are there? And we have in India this problem that most of our population that is poor, they don't have internet connection. Next slide, please. Next. So already covered in the current education system, but we know that a century ago there were certain epidemics, pandemics. Naturally, whole mankind emerged out of that. Every problem comes with a solution. Though we are experimenting with new things, naturally we are trying to find out remedy for this virus, but this is going to change the way we interact, we learn, we work from home, or we deliver the things, our supply chain systems, how we manage the governance. All these things are changing. But what I want to emphasize is that leaving aside our traditional degrees or diplomas or postgraduate degrees, there are a lot of opportunities which have arisen in new areas. One, every student needs to learn communication skills, IT skills, data science, uh, naturally use of various apps, because those who are not able to use it, there are problems with them. Next slide, please. So major obstacles in implementation, that is infrastructure. We don't have those efficient internet facilities. Right now, I was experiencing this problem in most of our schools where even furniture is not available for the students, not to talk of computers and other things. Then there is problem of mindset. Most of existing staff that is not ready to learn new ways of teaching, though there are decisions, there are guidelines by UGC, and there is question of affordability also. Naturally, with restriction, with down economy going into recession, there is pressure on government spending as well. How much it can release to help really those. We have seen the problems of poor people. They don't have anything to eat. What to talk of sending their schools or upholding these things? And there are millions of them. About more than 30 crore of students in the higher education sector, their studies are disrupted. And in India, majority of students, they belong to poor strata. We are using these techniques, online courses, online webinars, online conferences, online classes. And I have seen even in middle class, if only one laptop is there, parents are to work from home, but there are classes by the school, online classes, there is a problem. So it's a question of affordability. We have to tackle this problem as well. And the third thing is quality of connectivity. So far, whatever systems for naturally internet connectivity are there, again, how this reach can be extended to rural areas, to rural schools, to colleges in the rural areas or semi-urban areas, that is going to be a big challenge. Next please. Next slide, please. Next. Next slide, please. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
sir, I'm requesting them. Wait, I'm just calling him for the next slide.
Yeah. So we know we have these problems, but we are not to remain stuck to that. We are to focus on the solution. I think it's a good initiative in this 6 days series of talks, particularly in this international webinar, out of deliberations by other co-speakers. Naturally, they will be focusing on special education for special children. But in the present scenario, I find every child is now a special child in such kind of environment. Next slide, please. Next. So digital is the future. Technology can play a major role and a critical role in not only creating and dissemination of educational content, but also in assessment of the students. Definitely, once due to social distancing, governments, universities are finding it difficult to conduct the exams. And if we use technology to conduct online exams, just like we do it for entrance exams, so that will be a big help. We have to train the trainers. That is again a new dimension. The education regulators and the authorities, they have to devise programs, allocate budgets to train the trainers to face this situation, to provide online education to the students. Next slide, please. Next. There are some institutions who are doing good thing in this regard. Now, virtual is the reality, and there are emerging areas like active learning classrooms, MOOCs, collaborative distance learning, online assessments, collaborative forums. We have blogs, gaming, learning management system, ebooks. All these things will remain complementary because one essential part, besides curricula, that is personality development, growth of the child, that happens only through interaction with their class fellows, with the teachers. We have very limited space, particularly in this academic session, or till some remedy to this problem is found. So, not taking much of time, I would say that the special bias to be combined with the traditional system in order to overcome this crisis. That is the solution. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for this informative and factual information you have shared. There's a question from Hina Kausar. What happens if my child is not eligible for service?
Yeah. Like I said, eligible for service due to what reason? Please ask.
Due to disability.
Yes, as I said, my other co-presenters will be focusing on this. There is a reservation for such special children as per government policy. We have seen blind people entering into IES and other fields. I do not know what kind of special problem is there. Otherwise, I think in every government sector, particularly, I'm not talking about private sector, there are special provisions for these kids if they do well in their minimum qualification.
Sir, there is a question from Vijay Groverji. How to handle emotionally disturbed student in
I think the during these days, every institution, partly out of due to government guidelines and partly they have imminent fear of loss in admissions in their institutions. So they are making special efforts to organize online classes. My suggestion is just like there used to be campus activity, they should have some uh, cultural competitions, extracurricular activities, quiz, entertainment things through school and college board. That is how, or they can have some sessions just like students sit in the classroom. They can hold such things in their online meetings where students interact with them. Of course, there is a problem of control on the content, but some way has to be found out because man being a social animal, they need this thing. And we have to observe social distancing. But in order to come out of this emotional disturbance and depression, these are the only way out. That is why campus life is uh, fun beside the education. Next, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for a nice and factual session you have shared with all of us.
Thank you, Karam. I'm enjoying and I'm listening to the words of wisdom from my co-presenters. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir. Please stay joined, stay connected.
Thank you.
So we have a question: how to make them interact as they mute the. Okay. The question is for the host. It's okay. They're asking me. Yeah. Thank you, sir. We'll take up the questions at the end if there are more questions. Okay. Inviting our next speaker for today's session, I would like to quote: "A child with special needs will inspire you to be a special kind of person." Of course, if there is a special child with special needs, it requires a teacher to be special. And I would like to invite Dr. Ravinder Singh Ji, Senior Scientist, Program Officer, Mental Health and Disability, Rehabilitation and Assistive Technologies Division of Non-Communicable Diseases, ICMR Headquarters, New Delhi. We are really pleased and honored to have you, sir, amongst us today for this session, the day 5 of FCREs. Dr. Ravinder Singh Ji, sir, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Most welcome, sir. Heartiest welcome to you. We are
Good
waiting
morning.
for your presentation. Good morning, Ji.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. I was just listening to two previous speakers, and that was really very informative. And let me first share and congratulate you people to raising this issue as a special education after the post-COVID, or maybe we can't say what is the post-COVID era. When are we going to say that what would be the post-COVID era? I won't be having any slides or presentation, but I'll just speak and I hope it is clear, audible to all of you. So when
You are audible.
yeah, when we talk of special education, so education start right from the day one of that is the difference between human beings and other animals. So we are different by virtue of learning something. But unfortunately, there are a portion of our population who are not tuned to the normal kind of teaching. So maybe they are not able to see what we want to show them. Maybe they are not able to hear because we impart our education through the audio, video, and by having some sort of text. So these are the methodology which are traditionally used. We started some work on these things, that how do we include, or how do we bring all the children who are having a different sort of cognitive abilities, or they have some other abilities which are not among all of other normal children. So there we need to do something different. So maybe we need the help of caretaker. We need help of the assistive technology or technology as such. So in the technology, then there are different categories which are required for the special education for the children who are having different needs. While working on this area, we found out that we have a different kind of functions in our by our body, by which we interact with the people, we learn something, and the basic need of the children in the growing age or in the learning age is how to grasp the things. So that is where the role of assistive technology came in. So assistive technologies are basically any technology which can improve your learning the things, looking at the things, hearing maybe some sounds, and then mobility part, that you are able to move from one part to another part, and then you are able to take care of yourself, and then you are able to communicate with other people. So these are all assistive technology which we are now working at the level of ICMR. The most important of them now, as we say, it's not whether lockdown or post lockdown period, or COVID or post COVID period. The problem remains same: how to teach the children who have different needs. So while working on this, we found out that we need to have different models. Currently, or historically also, we had different models which are still working in India or anywhere in the world. So there are cultural models by which the children which had different needs were accepted. Then there were social models we keep on talking, and which has been so greatly been helpful in bringing these people or children into the field of inclusive area. And then there was right-based model, which under which this RBWD Act was created, that we should have some rights for these children. And somebody was asking the question just now, that how do our child get job? So these are the right-based model. And then along with that, there is another medical or health model by which we ensure that the functions of a person, because we say that there are three basic functions of the body that is required. So the function of body should be brought in at par with others by having certain technologies. So we say assistive information and communication technology, which are very useful for the special education. We have seen that there are memory aids. There are certain things which help us in remembering certain things that can be used during maybe this COVID or post-COVID period. Then there are specialized computer hardware and softwares. So there are a lot of innovations now in the hardware and softwares. So just by having a little modification into the computers, we saw that IIT Delhi had a nice computer where they did not need the screen, because the children who are not able to see, that screen is not required, and you can reduce the cost by multiples of rupees. So it's very cheap, and it's very useful for this kind of children. Then there are augmentative and alternate communication or technologies, and there are then customized telephones or smartphones. As we know, there are certain apps now which are available which can help these people at the school level or the college level. They can learn. Now, one very nice technology which we are now connected. This is one of the best technology which can connect the people from whole of the world. We can bring in the best brains from the across the different corners of the world. So these are the things which are now helping us in tiding this COVID or post-COVID era. I hope there are more innovation, and we will be able to bring in more and more technologies into the field. But at the same time, we also are aware that most of our population in rural areas are not, either they don't have access to the technology or they are not technology savvy.
मुझे मेल भेजो मैं हाँ
So they are not able to access to the technology, or they can't use. So looking at those things, we also have to find out the ways and methods. We've been talking of covering India, maybe 6.5 lakh villages in India, then connecting. So if we want to connect last person in any part of India, we need some sort of facility at the level of village panchayat. So one computer at the level of panchayat can help, or at the level of the school, primary school, where it can create wonders for these children with for the special education. Or maybe one mobile phone or smartphone at that level that can connect them with anybody across whole of the globe, because we know that at least one phone can be there at a population of say 1,000 or 2,000 population. So looking at all these technologies for the special education, we can think of lot of ways to bring in these children into the field of education, into the field of employment or recreation also, because that is very important, and we always ignore that these recreation part. We think that they don't need recreation, but at least we, as per the international classification of functioning, disability and health of WHO. So the one of the very basic area of functioning is recreation and connecting to the people in the society. So all these technologies are going to help or are helping us in a big way to connect, to learn, and to mobilize our populations which are otherwise are not able to go from one point to another, or not able to get educations. I hope we will keep on interacting, and we may have to make in the strategies as how to we have to have a standard operating procedures for these technologies. We may have guidelines. Very shortly we are going to we will be working on this thing also, that how to list out the things which will help these children to learn certain things. And I hope the coming time would be very helpful in these children to learn certain learn everything. So thank you very much for providing me this opportunity, and we will keep on interacting. Any questions, please you can ask now, or you can also send me through my mobile or my email. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a meaningful lecture and the useful information you have shared. It's rightly said, if you desire to make a difference in the world, you must be different from the world. And I'm really honored to share this, that you have been doing this from past so many years, as you are also an executive member of Rehabilitation Council of India, RCI, who is governing the special education in whole of India. So there is a question for you, that there is a girl, Manjuji is asking you, that there is a girl, child of 13 years age, totally dependent on rice tube. How can we deal with the situation?
Totally dependent on
Rice tube.
rice tube.
Ji.
So, but that does not stop her from moving. Rice tube is just for the feeding part. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, there's no way. We have various innovations. People are keep on doing it, and they are moving. Even this is a small tube which is inserted either through nose or through mouth, and then it can be, very well covered, and that child can go and roam around anywhere. There's no problem at all. Only thing is they have to do some innovations for that part, how to handle it while they are mobile. Otherwise, absolutely, there are no issues with that kind of situation.
Yes, sir. So there is a question from Vijay Groverji. How many other centers in India is doing the same job as you are doing?
None. Nobody else is doing. We are the pioneer. We are the first one to start certain things which has never been done in India. And if I have time, I can share what we are going to do. If you can give me 2 more minutes, can I
Yes,
explain
please.
it?
Yes, sir, of course.
Basically, even I was looking through this RPWD Act. There are 21 disabilities right now. So most of these disabilities are covered. This RPWD Act is under Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. That is the nodal agency, nodal ministry to discuss or to bring out the laws or any uh, act or guidelines for the person with disabilities. Now this law is so overarching that it has to be taken up by the all other ministries in their areas, which has not gone well. Like I was just looking at that there are three places this RPWD Act has mentioned assistive devices, but only one ministry has picked up, that is Ministry of Human Resource Development. They are providing assistive technologies to the children under Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan or whatever. I think there is a new name which they have given. And other ministries which were supposed to take it up, and they have not been able to respond back. Similarly, the Ministry of Health also has its own national programs, but certain disabilities, they have been either they have been left. So now my role is to bring in those disabilities by positioning them into the health sector, because what we say that there is a continuum of healthcare starting from prevention to promotion to curation or therapeutics or treatment part or management part, and then rehabilitation, which we are talking right now, fourth part, which has been widely covered by Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, and then palliation care. So during this care, during therapeutics or even all these parts, you need assistive technologies. So that is the role which we are now playing with help from WHO. WHO has given us a lead of say around 50 technology which should be available at the basic technology which should be available at any country level. So taking that lead, and by the their help, we have been able to develop our own list now in India, which will include around we have listed around 400 assistive technology which should be there with our systems. So maybe we will have to talk to the Ministry of Human Resource Development. There are another ministry, other ministries who should have this technology, and then employment part also. Ministry of Social Justice had done nice metrics that which kind of disability would be suitable for what kind of job. So that metrics also we are working on, where a person with disability can log in into that system and then share his or her abilities and what are the limitations. So based on that, automatically the system will show that these are the jobs which you are eligible or you can pick up. And on the same time, the companies also have to log in there and share the kind of jobs they are the people they are looking for. So that system will match both the requirement of the companies and requirement of the person with disabilities, and then match it and bring out what are the jobs which are suitable for them. So we have also done the groundwork by looking at the reservation which has been covered by public sector undertaking. We are working more on these areas. We are also working on how to prevent the disabilities by having maybe different modes, by improving the nutrition, by improving the certain actions which need to be taken up at the family level. So those are the things which we are working now. And very shortly, we are going to share one nice document, maybe within 1 day, that how to take care of person with disability during COVID-19 like situations. So this is at the community level, family and community level, at the hospital level, or in the workplace level. So if they are going to their workplace, how they can take care of themselves or their assistive technology which they are using. So there is a long broad area. We can discuss it over. I think I talk to Dr. DP Singh if we can hold a special session for this thing also only. So that would be much better, and we can justify it.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir, for the insights on the subject. And I think your organization is doing the wonderful work. I must say that fair is not everybody getting the same thing, but fair is everybody getting what they need in order to be successful. And I think RCI is doing the same. You are doing the same. It's really a great honor and privilege for the country like India to have people like you. Thank you so much, sir. If there are more questions, we will take up it at the end.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us, and thanks for the precious time you have given us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
For the next speaker of the day, we have with us Dr. Gaurav Kumar Dattaji, who is Principal and Counselor Psychologist, Tapovan College of Special Education and Research, Sri Ganganagar, Rajasthan. Dr. Gaurav Kumar Dattaji, क्या आप मुझे सुन पा रहे हैं?
हेलो.
Yes, sir.
हेलो. नमस्कार मैम.
नमस्कार
सभी
सर.
को.
Welcome.
सभी को नमस्कार. जैसा कि कोविड-19 पे अभी बात हो रही है, बहुत सारे वक्ताओं ने इससे पहले बोला है और बहुत ही अच्छे से उन्होंने बचाया.
15 मिनट्स का थोड़ा ध्यान रखेंगे.
हाँ, यस. कोविड-19 में स्पेशल एजुकेशन में यदि अब हम यहाँ बात करने वाले हैं, तो अगर मैं उत्तर भारत के परिप्रेक्ष्य में बात करूं, तो कोविड-19 अभी उच्च शिक्षा के लिए भी हम लोग इतना ज़्यादा तैयार नहीं थे. स्पेशल एजुकेशन में बहुत सारी डिसेबिलिटीज़ हैं जिनके साथ हम हर रोज वर्क करते हैं. डिसेबिलिटी है, हियरिंग इम्पेयरमेंट है, विजुअल इम्पेयरमेंट है, इन सभी चीज़ों में हम बच्चों के साथ वर्क करते हैं. यहाँ सबसे बहुत बड़े इश्यूज ये हैं कि इंडिया में लगभग 2.25 करोड़ पॉपुलेशन जो है वो डिसेबिलिटी से सफ़र करती है. स्पेशल स्कूल्स में बच्चों के साथ जहाँ वर्क किया जाता है, हमारे पास जितने भी बच्चे अभी अवेलेबल रहते हैं स्कूल्स में, जितने बच्चे हमें फाइंड आउट होते हैं, वो सभी 70% स्लम एरिया से आइडेंटिफाइड होते हैं. और इन बच्चों के साथ में जो मेन हमारा वर्किंग स्टाइल रहता है कि हम लोग उन्हें मैन टू मैन वर्क करते हैं. कोई स्पेसिफिक करिकुलम नहीं रहता है. इंटेलेक्चुअल डिसेबल बच्चों की यदि मैं बात करूं तो कोई स्पेसिफिक टाइमिंग नहीं है कि ऐसा नहीं है कि इन बच्चों के साथ में इसी करिकुलम पे वर्क करना है. हम लोग इन बच्चों के साथ में थेरेपीज हैं, बहुत सारी कम्युनिकेशंस हैं इन बच्चों के साथ में, इन तरीकों से उनके साथ में वर्क किया जाता है। अभी कोविड-19 के परिप्रेक्ष्य में बहुत ही एक साइकोलॉजिकली ऐसे एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट हो रहा है कि ये बच्चों के साथ वर्क करना काफ़ी ज़्यादा अभी प्रॉब्लमेटिक होता जा रहा है। यदि मैं बात करूं कि इन बच्चों के साथ हम कैसे वर्क कर पा रहे हैं, तो इसमें पेरेंट्स की बहुत ज़्यादा इन्वॉल्वमेंट ज़रूरी हो गई है। रीज़न है सोशलिज्म जैसे ही हमारा ख़त्म होता जा रहा है और जैसे ही हम ऑनलाइन चीज़ों पर वर्क करने जा रहे हैं, तो बच्चों में एक स्ट्रेस उत्पन्न हो रहा है। मैं यहाँ हर रोज डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट के साथ में, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के साथ वर्क कर रहा हूँ, तो बहुत सारे इश्यूज ऐसे आ रहे हैं जिनमें बच्चों में साइकोलॉजिकली बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स आ रही हैं। और अगर हम बात करें स्पेशल एजुकेशन में, तो वो प्रॉब्लम्स बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ती जा रही हैं। हम हायर एजुकेशन में ठीक है ऑनलाइन सब चीज़ों को ले रहे हैं, लेकिन यदि मैं बात करूं प्राइमरी लेवल पे 1st से 5th तक, तो यहाँ पर बहुत इश्यूज हो रहे हैं बच्चों के साथ में वर्क करने के लिए। लेकिन कोविड-19 के बाद में हमें बहुत सारी नई चीज़ों को सीखना होगा, बहुत सारी नई चीज़ों को समझना होगा, और हमें इन बच्चों के साथ में वर्क करने की अपनी टेक्निक्स में बदलाव भी करना होगा। इसमें मैं कुछ चीज़ें आपके साथ शेयर करना चाह रहा हूँ कि हम क्या कर रहे हैं, हम क्या कर सकते हैं। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, इन बच्चों के साथ जब हम वर्क करते हैं, इंटेलेक्चुअल डिसेबल बच्चों के साथ में, तो कुछ चीज़ें हमें जो ध्यान रखने की होती हैं वो ये कि एक तो ये बच्चे बहुत ज़्यादा आपके साथ में कम्युनिकेट नहीं कर पाते हैं। स्पेशली ऑटिज्म स्पेक्ट्रम डिसऑर्डर की मैं बात करूँ या फिर अटेंशन डेफिसिट हाइपर एक्टिव डिसऑर्डर की मैं बात करूँ, ये दोनों ऐसी बच्चे हैं जो आपके साथ बहुत जल्दी से कम्युनिकेट नहीं होते हैं। इन बच्चों को कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा वीक होते हैं। तो ऐसे में इन बच्चों के साथ में वर्क करने के लिए हम लोगों को बहुत ज़्यादा पैशन की ज़रूरत होती है, उनके साथ हमें बैठना होता है। और अगर मैं ये बात करूं कि उन्हें ऑनलाइन स्टडीज़ के माध्यम से या सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग और इन सब चीज़ों से हम वर्क कर पाएँ, तो ये बहुत ही कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सा लगता है। लेकिन अभी ऐसा जैसा कि सर ने हमें पहले बताया कि मिनिस्ट्री ने बहुत सारे ऐसी नई सॉफ्टवेयर्स हैं, हार्डवेयर्स हैं, ऐसा बहुत डेवलप किए जा रहे हैं जिनसे हम इन बच्चों के साथ में वर्क कर सकते हैं। अब मैं बात करूंगा विजुअली इम्पेयर्ड बच्चों की। विजुअली इम्पेयर्ड बच्चों के साथ सबसे बड़ा इशू है कि उनकी ब्रेल टेक्निक्स, लिसनिंग करवा सकते हैं, उन्हें हम सुना सकते हैं, लेकिन अगर हम इन्हें ब्रेल टेक्निक्स पे बात करना चाहें तो ऐसे मोबाइल पे सॉफ्टवेयर्स बनाना अभी बहुत टिपिकल है, माध्यम से हम उन्हें सिखा सके। और यदि हम बात करें कि हेयरिंग इम्पेयर्ड बच्चों की अगर हम बात करें, तो हेयरिंग इम्पेयर्ड बच्चों को हम साइन लैंग्वेज से पढ़ाते हैं, लेकिन अगर हम उन्हें स्पीच थेरेपी देना चाह रहे हैं तो वो बहुत ही कॉम्प्लिकेटेड हो जाता है स्पीच थेरेपी देना उन बच्चों के लिए। इसी तरह से यदि माइक्रोसिफेली और हाइड्रोसिफेली बच्चे हैं, उनमें भी बहुत सारे कॉम्प्लिकेशंस हैं। इन बच्चों के साथ आप कम्युनिकेट करना, डायरेक्ट कम्युनिकेट ही कर सकते हैं, सिखा सकते हैं। हायर एजुकेशन में यदि मैं टीचिंग की बात करूंगा, तो हायर एजुकेशन में अभी हमारी बहुत सारी टीचिंग टेक्निक्स हैं जिनको हम कक्षा कक्ष में इस्तेमाल करते हैं, क्लासेस में यूज करते हैं। जैसा टीचर्स हैं, जितने भी टीचर्स हैं, वो सिर्फ चौक और ब्लैक बोर्ड माध्यम से नहीं पढ़ाते हैं, वो उन बच्चों में एक साइकोलॉजिकली इश्यूज भी चेक कर रहे होते हैं, क्लासेस में देख के उनकी फिजियोलॉजी चेक कर रहे होते हैं। तो हम अपनी टीचिंग को उन बच्चों के हिसाब से चेंज कर पाते हैं। लेकिन यदि हम ऑनलाइन स्टडी की बात करें, यदि हम बहुत सारा न्यू एडवांस सिस्टम आईसीटी की बात करें, इंफॉर्मेशन कम्युनिकेशन टेक्नोलॉजीज की बात करें, तो हमारी टीचिंग टेक्निक्स बहुत सीमित हो जाती हैं। और अभी बच्चों में इसको अडेप्ट करने में आई थिंक थोड़ा समय लगेगा, लेकिन धीरे धीरे ये हो पाएगा। और स्पेशल एजुकेशन में ये बहुत ही अभी टिपिकल होता जा रहा है, जैसे जैसे इसको इस्तेमाल करना है। पेरेंट्स की भूमिका बहुत ज़्यादा बनती जा रही है, लेकिन अभिभावक, चूंकि मैंने पहले भी बताया 70% स्लम एरिया से हैं, तो वो नहीं समझ पाते हैं इतना इन बच्चों को। अभी ज़रूरत ये है कि पिछले 2, 2.5, 3 महीने से बच्चे जो हैं वो थेरेपी से दूर हैं। यदि कोई लोकोमोटर डिसेबल बच्चा है तो उसको फिजियोथेरेपी की रोज जरूरत होती है। फिजियोथेरेपी से उसकी मसल्स जो है वो रिड्यूस्ड होती हैं, धीरे धीरे वो बच्चा जो है उसकी मसल्स वर्किंग स्टाइल में आती हैं। लेकिन अगर ये 2-3 महीने से बच्चा थेरेपी सेशन से दूर है, पेरेंट्स भी थेरेपी नहीं करा रहे हैं, तो जो भी प्रोग्रेस है वो फिर से स्टार्टिंग एज में आ जाती है, बिल्कुल जीरो हो जाती है। तो इस तरह से इस तरह से इन बच्चों के साथ जो थेरेपीज है वो हमारी चलनी बहुत ज़्यादा जरूरी है। और स्पेशल एजुकेशन में बदलाव आएगा, जैसा कि अभी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के भी नॉर्म्स हैं कि सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग के साथ स्कूल्स ओपन हो। हमारे लिए सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज ये है कि इन बच्चों में सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग कैसे हम इन बच्चों के साथ फॉलो करेंगे, या हम इन्हें कैसे हम प्रिकॉशंस वगैरह बता पाएंगे, मास्क पहनना, सैनिटाइजेशन करना। ये हमारे बहुत बड़े चैलेंजेस हैं, जिसके ऊपर अभी हम इंडियन मिनिस्ट्री के साथ में, राजस्थान गवर्नमेंट के साथ में इस पे रोज परिचर्चाएं हो रही हैं कि किस तरह से इनको आगे चल के खोला जा सकता है। और यहाँ पर एक चीज पे मैं और ध्यान देना चाहूंगा कि अभी इंडिया में, हिंदुस्तान में, जैसा कि हम सब जानते हैं कि पोलियो चला गया है। अभी पोलियो के नए पेशेंट्स या नए मरीज नहीं मिलते हैं। जितने भी नए बच्चे फिजिकली डिसेबल्ड आइडेंटिफाइड हो रहे हैं वो सभी लोकोमोटर डिसेबिलिटी से हैं, मसलन सेरिब्रल पल्सी से। जब बच्चा इस दुनिया में आता है तो हम सब जानते हैं कि रोना बहुत ज़्यादा जरूरी है। अगर बर्थ का जरूरी, अगर एट द टाइम नहीं होगा, इमीडिएट नहीं होगा, तो बच्चे के न्यूरॉन्स में कमी या डिफेक्ट आने शुरू हो जाएंगे। ऐसी स्थिति में बच्चे में डिसेबिलिटी होने के चांसेस ज़्यादा हो जाते हैं। तो इन सब चीज़ों की अवेयरनेस की अभी बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है। अवेयरनेस चलाने की बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है गवर्नमेंट को भी, क्योंकि बच्चे अभी इन चीज़ों को नहीं समझ पा रहे हैं और साइकोलॉजिकली इश्यूज बहुत ज़्यादा तेज़ी से इसमें बढ़ते जा रहे हैं। बच्चों के अंदर एक अजीब सा स्ट्रेस उनमें डेवलप होता जा रहा है। तो इसके ऊपर हम सबको मिलकर वर्क करने की ज़रूरत है। सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी टीचर्स को भी सीखने की है, क्योंकि ऑनलाइन स्टडीज़ हम लोगों के लिए या टीचर्स के लिए भी बहुत ही नए इफेक्ट्स हैं और अभी हमने इन्हें अडप्ट नहीं किया था पूरी तरह से। तो बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है कि हम इसे ज़्यादा अडप्ट करें। टीचर्स के लिए सेशन लगाने भी ज़रूरी हैं, बच्चों के लिए नहीं, अभी टीचर्स के लिए भी, क्योंकि जितना बच्चे अभी प्रेशराइज्ड फील कर रहे हैं, मेरा ये मानना है कि टीचर्स भी उतना ही फील कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि उन्हें ये नया सिस्टम नहीं समझ में आ रहा है। तो इस नए सिस्टम को समझने के लिए टीचर्स के सेशन होने भी जरूरी हैं, उन्हें भी समझना जरूरी है। और स्पेशल एजुकेशन के साथ हम पेरेंट्स के साथ में एक टीम में वर्क कर सकते हैं। यदि हम टीम में वर्क नहीं कर पाएंगे तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि हम इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा चेंजेस ला पाएंगे। तो टीम में वर्क करने की ज़रूरत है, पेरेंट्स को इसमें इन्वॉल्व होना जरूरी है। लेकिन सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम फिर मैं वही कहूंगा कि 70% बच्चे स्लम एरिया से हैं। हम उन्हें कैसे इन चीज़ों में समझा सकते हैं जहां उनके पास एडवांस टेक्नोलॉजीज नहीं है। और दूसरी बात यह है कि बच्चों के लिए जो समय चाहिए, उत्तर भारत में खास तौर पे मैं ये देखता हूं कि दक्षिण भारत में थोड़ा पेरेंट्स अवेयर रहते हैं, लेकिन उत्तर भारत में खास तौर पे पेरेंट्स इतने ज़्यादा अवेयरिंग अपना कंडीशंस को नहीं फॉलो करते हैं। तो ऐसी स्थिति में हमें ज़रूरी है उनके लिए सेशंस लगाना, काउंसलिंग सेशंस हो, ताकि हम उन्हें इन चीज़ों के बारे में अवेयर कर सके, डिसेबिलिटी के बारे में हम उनसे बात कर सके और उन बच्चों को कुछ नई टेक्निक्स के थ्रू हम उन्हें पढ़ा सके। जैसे सर ने कहा सर्व शिक्षा अभियान, जैसे अभी रमसा है, राष्ट्रीय माध्यमिक शिक्षा अभियान गवर्नमेंट ने अभी चलाया है। बहुत सारे स्पेशल एजुकेटर्स हैं, बहुत सारे ऐसे ट्रेन्ड टीचर्स हैं स्पेशल फील्ड में वर्क करने वाले। हम उन सब की हेल्प ले सकते हैं, डोर टू डोर या होम बेस्ड थेरेपीज कर सकते हैं और इस तरह से हम इन बच्चों के अंदर प्रोग्रेसेस ला सकते हैं। थैंक यू मैम, आपने इसमें इनवाइट किया। इसके लिए कोई क्वेश्चनिंग हो तो आप अभी मुझसे पूछ सकते हैं मैम।
थैंक यू सो मच सर।
वेलकम मैम।
देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम मंजू जी। ऑटिज्म के कारण वो बिल्कुल भी बोल चल नहीं पाते, क्या ऑटिज्म का कोई इलाज नहीं है?
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है कि ऑटिज्म का कोई इलाज नहीं है। देखिए, मैं एक बात आपसे सभी जितने भी यहाँ सुन रहे हैं उनसे कहना चाहूंगा कि वी फाइंड एबिलिटी इन एवरी डिसेबिलिटी। ऐसा नहीं है कि इस दुनिया में जो भी बच्चा आया है उसमें कोई खासियत नहीं है। इस दुनिया में आने वाले किसी भी बच्चे में, चाहे वो डिसेबल्ड ही क्यों ना हो, कोई ना कोई एक खास एबिलिटी जरूर होती है। एज ए स्पेशल एजुकेटर हम लोगों का ये मानना है कि बस हमें वो एबिलिटी फाइंड करनी है बच्चे में, उसके ऊपर हमें वर्क करना है। और यदि आप उस पर वर्क कर पाते हैं तो वो बच्चे में बहुत अच्छे से प्रोग्रेस आती है। मैं बात करूंगा ऑटिज्म स्पेक्ट्रम डिसऑर्डर की। ऑटिज्म स्पेक्ट्रम डिसऑर्डर के जितने भी बच्चे हैं ये कम्युनिकेट नहीं करते हैं, मतलब ये अपना एक सर्कल बनाते हैं, अपनी एक दुनिया में रहते हैं और अपने कुछ चुनिंदा चीजों के साथ में ये खेलना पसंद करते हैं, उनके साथ ही उनका इन्वॉल्वमेंट ये पसंद करते हैं। तो हमें क्या करना है, हम उन्हें सिखाने जाएंगे तो कभी नहीं सीखेंगे। हमें ये करना है कि हमें जो उनका सर्कल है या उनकी जो दुनिया है, हमें उस दुनिया के अंदर पहले ऐड होना है। मैं अक्सर एक एग्जांपल देता हूं कि हमें ये करना है कि अगर कोई ऑटिज्म स्पेक्ट्रम डिसऑर्डर का बच्चा बैठा है, आप उसे जबरदस्ती बुलाएंगे, पढ़ाएंगे तो वो आपकी तरफ इंटरेक्ट नहीं करेगा। आप एक काम करिए, आप एक दिन एक बॉल लीजिए, आप उस ऑटिज्म स्पेक्ट्रम डिसऑर्डर के बच्चे के पास जाइए, बॉल से खेलना शुरू करिए और आप ताली बजाएंगे, बोलेंगे कि बहुत मजा आ रहा है, बहुत मजा आ रहा है। फर्स्ट एक दिन, 2 दिन, 3 दिन वो बच्चा आपकी तरफ देखेगा, हाँ वो आपके पास नहीं आएगा, लेकिन वो आपकी तरफ देखेगा। फिर एक दिन उसको लगेगा कि बहुत मजा आ रहा है, तो वो आपके पास आएगा, आपसे बॉल पकड़ेगा और खड़ा हो जाएगा। आप दूसरी बॉल लेंगे, उसको टिप करना शुरू करेंगे, आप खेलना शुरू करेंगे, आप कहेंगे बहुत मजा आ रहा है, वेरी गुड, शाबाश। धीरे धीरे आप देखेंगे कि वो बच्चा, उसको लगेगा कि जो आप कर रहे हैं उसमें बहुत ज्यादा आनंद आता है। जिस दिन बच्चा आपको फॉलो करने लगेगा, उस दिन वो आपको अपने सर्कल मिलेगा, यानी आपको अपनी दुनिया में शामिल करेगा। अब आप उसको प्लेइंग टेक, आप उसे खेल के माध्यम से, आप उसे मनोरंजन के माध्यम से जब पढ़ाना शुरू करेंगे, तो वो पढ़ेगा। ऐसा नहीं है कि वो नहीं पढ़ेगा, वो पढ़ेगा, लेकिन उसमें समय लगता है। आपको बहुत पैशन चाहिए, आपको बहुत उस बच्चे के साथ में लंबे समय तक हो सकता है वक्त करना पड़े, लेकिन जब भी आप उसके साथ वक्त काम करना शुरू करेंगे, वो बहुत तेजी से सीखेगा।
Sir, I would like to ask that in your work experience, आपने autism के किसी बच्चे को ठीक होते देखा है?
हाँ, बहुत से बच्चों को ठीक होते मीन्स मैं ये नहीं कहूंगा कि आपकी और हमारी तरह, लेकिन हाँ, वो बच्चे बहुत काम कर सकते हैं, बहुत अच्छे से वर्क कर सकते हैं, उन्हें ट्रेन किया जा सकता है। ये ट्रेनेबल हैं बच्चे, इन्हें आप बहुत अच्छे से बहुत हद तक काफ़ी चीज़ें सिखा सकते हैं। ये डिपेंड करता है पेरेंट्स की और वहाँ जो स्पेशल एजुकेटर्स हैं उनकी मेहनत पे, कि वो कितना अर्लियर एज से स्टार्ट करते हैं और कितनी मेहनत कर लेते हैं बच्चे के साथ में।
जी, okay. And there is a question from Suman ji. What are the major psychological issues children with disabilities face? How are these diagnosed and how are we supposed to respond to that as a teacher, therapist and guardian?
देखिए, सबसे पहले आइडेंटिफिकेशन की अगर मैं बात करूं, तो हर बच्चे के कुछ माइलस्टोन्स होते हैं। मसलन मैं ये कहूँ कि जब बच्चा इस दुनिया में आता है और उसके बाद में हम ये चीज़ें जानते हैं कि कुछ फिक्स है, कि जैसा बच्चा 6 महीने का जब होगा तो वो बैठना शुरू करेगा, 9 महीने का होगा तो वो खड़ा होना शुरू हो जाएगा सहारे से, और साल भर का बच्चा चलने लगेगा। ये माइलस्टोन्स हैं। यदि पेरेंट्स उन बच्चों के माइलस्टोन्स को नोट करते हैं और ये देखते हैं कि ये सब डिलेड हो रहे हैं, बच्चा इस एज में आने के बाद भी चल नहीं पा रहा है, इस एज में आने के बाद भी बोल नहीं पा रहा है, तो माइलस्टोन्स अगर डिलेड हो रहे हैं, तो हम इस बात में स्टार्टिंग एज में अवेयर हो जाते हैं कि बच्चे में कोई ना कोई डिसेबिलिटी या कुछ ना कुछ परेशानियां वहां पर हैं। फिर हम उसकी जांच करवा सकते हैं। डिसेबिलिटीज की बहुत सारी जांचेज हैं, अगर वो हेयरिंग इम्पेयर्ड है, विजुअल इम्पेयर्ड है, लोकोमोटर डिसेबिलिटी है, इंटेलेक्चुअल डिसेबिलिटीज है, माइक्रोसिफेली है, हाइड्रोसिफेली है, ऑटिज्म स्पेक्ट्रम डिसऑर्डर है, अटेंशन डेफिसिट हाइपरएक्टिव डिसऑर्डर है, एक्सेट्रा। बहुत सारी चीज डिसेबिलिटीज हैं जिनको हम आइडेंटिफाइड कर सकते हैं। हम उनकी अलग अलग चीजों की अलग अलग स्पेशलिस्ट से जांच करवा सकते हैं और पता कर सकते हैं क्या डिसेबिलिटीज है। फर्स्ट। सेकंड ये कि अगर बच्चों में क्या प्रॉब्लम्स आ रही हैं, तो सबसे ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम मेरा ये मानना है कि हीन भावना बच्चों में बहुत आती है। अगर बच्चा इंटेलेक्चुअल डिसेबल्ड नहीं है तो, अगर बच्चा इंटेलेक्चुअल डिसेबल यानी कि जिसे हम लोग मानसिक मेंटल रिटार्डेशन भी बोलते थे, अभी उसको हम इंटेलेक्चुअल डिसेबल्ड यानी बौद्धिक अक्षम बोलते हैं। तो अगर बच्चा बौद्धिक अक्षम नहीं है, तो बच्चे में हीन भावना उत्पन्न होती है। आज भी ऐसा माहौल बनता जा रहा है कि बच्चों में ईगो की एक बहुत ज्यादा ईगो डेवलप होता जा रहा है, हीन भावना उनमें बहुत जल्दी से डेवलप होती है, क्योंकि उन्हें सोशल जो सपोर्ट है वो नहीं मिल पा रहा है। तो सोशल सपोर्ट नहीं मिल पाने की वजह से उन बच्चों में हीन भावना उत्पन्न हो जाती है। तो ऐसी स्थिति में सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी है कि पॉजिटिव माइंडसेट के साथ में आप अपने बाकी बच्चों को और डिसेबल बच्चे को बराबर का योगदान करें। मसलन कि अगर आपके घर पे 3 बच्चे हैं, तो आप तीनों बच्चों को ये बिठा के बोलिए कि इस बच्चे मानते हैं कि कोई भी गेम खेलेंगे तो ये बच्चा नहीं खेल पाएगा, लेकिन कोई तो ऐसा टास्क होगा जो सिर्फ ये कर पाएगा, तो आप उसे वो टास्क दीजिए, ताकि वो बच्चे उसको ऐसा नहीं समझें कि इसको कुछ नहीं आता है या ये बच्चा हमारे बराबर का नहीं है, तो उसमें ये हीन भावना डेवलप नहीं होने दें। आप गाइड कर सकते हैं पेरेंट्स को अर्लियर एज से कि उस बच्चे को बिल्कुल साथ लेके चलना है। बाकी बच्चों को भी ये बात रियलाइज करानी है कि इस बच्चे में भी एबिलिटीज हैं। जब बच्चे उस बच्चे की एबिलिटीज को समझेंगे तो उसे अपने बराबर लेके चलेंगे, और ऐसी स्थिति में उस बच्चे में धीरे धीरे एक जो हीन भावना है वो कम होती जाएगी, मोटिवेशन बढ़ता जाएगा, तो वो बहुत अच्छे से वर्क करेगा। यस मैम।
Thank you so much, sir,
वेलकम मैम।
for your valuable information you have shared with us today.
थैंक यू मैम।
And I guess if there are, hello,
हेलो, यस मैम।
sir, am I audible?
यस यस मैम, आई लिसन यू। हेलो। Hello.
Yes. I was
Yes,
not
ma'am.
able to see my screen. Yes. Thank you, sir. There is a question. I will take it at the end. We are left with one more speaker, so we can hear him first, and then we will take up the questions, the left out ones. Yes, it's truly said. A truly amazing special education teacher is hard to find, harder to leave, and impossible to forget. And so we have Dr. Vijay Groverji, Associate Professor, DAV College of Education, Abohar, Punjab. I would like to invite you, sir, for the session, for your presentation. We are waiting to listen to you. Dr. Vijay Groverji.
I'm audible?
हाँ जी, आपको सुन पा रहे हैं सर. हेलो.
Okay.
डॉक्टर ग्रोवर जी. हाँ जी, आप प्लीज बोलिए.
Hello. Can you see my
हाँ जी,
screen?
ग्रोवर जी.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
You are audible.
Okay, thank you very much. So I would like to thank firstly CIE and FCRS and especially DP Singh sir. I request everybody who is attending should admit at least with DP Singh sir and will understand how dynamic the person is. And you are taking me.
I request you to please be little louder.
Okay.
जी.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, I can hear you. हाँ जी.
Okay. So I would like to thank everyone who is involved, especially DP Singh sir. Special education is a sort of decoration. It's not considered as essential thing, and in India, it has been especially that we don't have so many resources, and the attitude and all those things are missing. So I will be taking, because I planned it for 20 minutes, so I will be taking a little bit quickly going through the slides. There is a challenge for the nation, and especially in the COVID time and after COVID. So how we will deal with it? Let's go one by one. See the percentage of handicapped person in UK 18%, USA 12, 9.3 in Germany, Sri Lanka 5, and India only 2.21. Why? It seems that the definition we are taking for handicap is very loose, because I was involved in the census 2011. I know the only few 6-7 disability we covered, and that definition was even not that good. So the number I feel is much bigger. So if the number is bigger, then many people are involved, and many people attendants are involved, and so a big amount of population, let it be around 5% population, is unproductive. So then this cannot be allowed. So special education has to be there, and some facts, loose facts, I will display here. Again, census I will be quoting. 27% disabled never attended school. Then more girls are illiterate than literate who are disabled. Then 64% out of those 53 male and 77 in case of female don't earn even a single rupee a day. And then prevention, early detection and intervention, as Gaurav sir was saying, it's not actually practically happening in India. And no special educator or no resource room in schools. In most of the states, it is the situation, although it is proposed, but special educators still will have not appointed. Then no recreation for disabled, as Guru sir was also saying, and Ravinder sir was saying it. Then no barrier-free environment. Still, there are lot many barriers, starting from attitudinal to physical to technological. How there are many things. There's a great big paraphernalia in the name of special education, and the things are we are not doing actually. There's a ministry, social justice and empowerment. Then there's a, but see, on the go to the sites of the ministry, and you will find little about this disability. Then state departments are there in every state. Then disability commissioners in every state, and then central commissioner is there. 7 state national institutes, then central institutes, then 14 composite regional centers for persons with disability, and research institutes, number of sites, and then 720 RCI recognized institutions in India. The number might have increased now. And then visible to the professional ratio is 1 into 268, which is not that bad, but still we don't see people in school. And then ASHA workers are also considered to help this in this task. But the outcome is there's a disproportionate disabled. What I mean to say is that if there are 3-4% people are disabled, then every class should have 3-4 people disabled. If the class is of 50 students, there 1-2% should be there, combined together special education and inclusive settings. But we don't find in the schools. It means they are sitting at home, unproductive. There's no specific program in education really. There's only covered under SSA, which is ignored by teachers and all concerned people. Then there's the intention to put everything in inclusive setting because it saves money. So inclusive is we have got very good method to put people in inclusive setting. They may produce any result or not. They may be productive or not. Then no specific budget is there. There is education budget is there, but for specifically the budget is not visible and not transparently told to the public. There are no special teachers in school, as I already said, no district level of teacher. If there are that sort of ad hocism is there, then no real social support, as my previous speaker also told it. Then if you go to the sites of the disability sites, let it be RCI. Go to the sites and you will find a number of problems with RCI, and other sites, they are not updated. They are not giving data transparently. Then if we can do everything for other reserve category, then why this category is not considered? Why this is not given importance? Let's take of RCI, what RCI is doing. In this present COVID time, you will go to the site of RCI and you will see silence. Nothing is being done about these children by the RCI. Nothing, no program is going on. Then no publication of journal of RCI after 2017, and that too is I am afraid it is not in general UGC care list, and what to talk about Scopus and all. Whatever research they show in these journals are very poor, very ordinary level of research is going on. I'm not saying that every institution is doing like this, but I have just taken one. So no annual report is there after 2016. Then no newsletter is there, and then they use only social media, that is Facebook. Then types of rehabilitation, just I will come to the COVID as well. There's a physical, I'm not going into detail of that. Physical, as you know, that the physical has covered that the physical first has to be done in physical in CT and all other cases. Then occupation, then they have to produce some money. They have to be productive. And educational, and definitely educational vis-a-vis communication. But nothing at the moment is going on in the COVID times because they all those the touch is very important sense for these people whatever disabilities. आशीर्वाद नहीं लगता जब तक हाथ ना लगाया जाए, जब तक दिया ना जाए. उसी तरह बच्चे को जब तक गोद में ना लिया जाए, टच ना किया जाए, उसको हग ना किया जाए, उसको किस ना किया जाए, उसको वो लगता नहीं है. That it cannot be done in the COVID time where the touch is not allowed. Similarly, when I see that that's a hearing disabled person, and we say everybody has to wear mask, and how they read actually our lips, how they can learn. And at the moment, whatever, there's one technique that's called Wakat. That's a visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and tactile. How it works? If it does not work in the ordinary situation, then how it can help them in COVID situation? Then operational models of rehabilitation, as Dr. Ravinder covered, there is a biomedical, then second one is a social popular model, then psychological, but how the three are combined in one model, that's a very good model, CBR, that has to be done, whole society has to be there. That's a community-based rehabilitation, suggested by WHO in 1917. Actually, it involves other three, whatever has been mentioned above. How it's possible in isolation, how community can help, how parents can help, how other special educators can help, how the people around the child can help. Then we will take the next slide. I will discuss this a little bit later. Then community-based rehabilitation involves first health, then education, then livelihood, then social, and then empowerment. When I say empowerment, why a disabled cannot be a chief guest somewhere? Why he cannot be in a decision-making position? See, except through multiple disabilities and autism, then mental retardation, all other disabled are mentally sound. They can do everything what we can do. But we don't see these people in positions of decision making, or they don't seems to be empowered in India at least. But how we can do it, it is not right now, it is not happening. The stages of CBR. The first is rest and protect. Injury or disease, first it has to be arrested, it has to be protected, it has to be given comfort. Then recovery of motion. The child should be able to move. Then recovery of strength. Whatever strength he has or has lost or received, and that has to come up again. And then recovery of function. Means he should be able to behave like us, and whatever possible function he can perform should be performed with full efficiency. This is CBR basically. There are principles of CBR. Why I am talking about CBR? Because CBR has to be implemented during COVID as well as after COVID. First, inclusion. Every child to be included in CBR. They should be respected and should be allowed to come. Then participation. Then sustainable. Don't allow the child to receive back. Sustain the child. When we talk about COVID, as Gaurav sir has told that the children are for 2 months they are away from the therapies and all those, they will receive, they will go back, they will the same situation will happen. How they will come back and how we will be able to bring back into the situation where they were. And what about the new babies who are being born as a special children? So that's a huge problem we are facing. Then empowerment, then self-advocacy. See, whatever has happened, even female progress throughout the world and in India, because when they came to rescue themselves, same should happen with the special children. They should come. You know, when we develop this new education policy, all the policy makers forget to include the special children. Then the advocates of these people and supporters of these people, when they took to the streets to the parliament, then they amended the policy and new thing came, and then 2006 policy we know. Then barrier-free environment is a very important thing in all terms, in terms of attitudinal, psychological, technological, and physical definitely. But how to do during Corona? All these are impossible. But how we will do? Let's do. After Corona, what we need to do, or when we are in Corona, after Corona, we know nobody knows when Corona will finish and what will be the after, and how we will be saying it after it is actually. And special children and special educators is the most hit valuables by the COVID-19. You know, the poor is hit strongly by any sort of crisis. And these are the people who are marginalized. Already marginalized people are always hit with a greater force by any sort of crisis. Then we need to revive whatever has gone back, whatever they have received, they have to go back into the same situation where they were for the children, those who were under some sort of revival, some sort of rehabilitation. Then public support, especially religious groups, that I have added actually. Anything in India or okay, anything in India or anywhere in the world, I see that most of the things which is said by religious leaders, maybe religious institutions, have proved that it materializes. Why not with this? We can do it. Special the religious groups, the religious institutions can request and provide its public support. And I suggest that religious institutions should start special schools so that it should be much easier for them to get support from the community. Then role of NGOs and activists has to come back again and support and with a greater force and take their job as they were doing earlier, and the more should be added. Then family need to become special educators. That's very important, as Dr. Guru was also saying. The family have to become special educators. I used to discuss with how inclusion is possible. It's not possible that every teacher will learn about every sort of special that is child or the disease. It is when you get the first child, it's partially blind in your school, then learn what is blindness, how it happens, how it can be tackled, and then this experience will help you in the next year or coming years to attend the new case. And this is how we do, teachers can do. Similarly, when a child is born who is a special child, don't make the child responsibility of some special educator schools or something like that. You become the special educator. That will be the best thing. And all those parents who are doing it even during Corona. Then funds from more than one sources. Now, you know, the government will be facing the crunch of funds. Now we need funds from many sources and we should come for this. Then inclusion to continue. Inclusion you cannot stop. All those who are partially disabled, they should come to the normal school and inclusion should happen and teachers should be trained very rigorously and attitudes have to improve. Whereas who are having more disability should go for special schools. And lastly, then there's a last slide I am talking about. Also include special education under MHRD. So in new policy, we are trying to include MHRD. Yes, it is playing part, but it has to come in a big way. It cannot be done under only social justice ministry. It has to come under the MHRD also, and they should have a very good connection between them. As Dr. Ravindra was saying, that so many institutions has to come along to make anything possible. So I propose that so many specialists should come together rather than the departments which I see or ministries. Then e-learning customized platform. We can have customized platform. For blind, we can have a customized platform of audio. For hearing impaired, we can have visual kind of e-learning customized platform. For others, like Stephen Hawking, we know, he used to operate technology. In the same way, we can develop e-learning platform where Dr. Ravindra will be of very big help. Then we have to establish some model schools. Let us now, Corona is there or post-Corona. Establish a special school, put all knowledge you have and make a model school and then replicate that model that can help us to deal with the problem of educating the special children. Then prepare both child and school. Don't only prepare the child. You can provide crutches, you can provide technology to the child, but you have to make school accessible. So schools are too accessible in terms of special child. When you plan a school for co-education, we make two toilets, one for boys, one for girls. So it is that when you plan the school, when you plan the building, when you recruit the people, you keep in mind that special child will be coming, and then how you can make prepare the school to bring the child. Then it's not costly, I can tell you. Then when they are become productive, they will produce a lot of money for you, and that the support of this special education will be useful for any country, I can tell you. Then practically it has to be barrier-free environment for all public offices, schools, colleges, universities, and everywhere. Then there has to be research on that, has to be applied research in Indian situation and on a particular disability and the problem. One has to try and do research and solve particular problem that will actually help us to do. Then special guidance come employment exchange. I know there has been suggestion of special employment exchange, but still it is not working in most of the states and cities. Forget about these cities. They have to have a special guidance center. How can a teacher can tell everything? How can every city has to have a special guidance center? know many people don't get know how to get a disability certificate. If they get certificate, they don't get the disability card. If they don't get card, they don't they can't access all sorts of facilities for them using that card. So what I mean to say is have a special dedicated guidance center at city level, at district level, so that they should know their rights, they should know their possibilities, they should, because they are not reading your website, they are not going to any university, and then simply employment exchange has to be there so that they should be placed in the right position. 3% reservation should be materialized. So here I end basically. That is what I wanted to share with you. And hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Please continue.
Yeah,
Hanji.
I have finished with my presentation actually. Anything you want to ask basically? So I'm present.
Yes, sir. We are taking up the questions now.
Yeah.
Thank you for such a wonderful presentation. Everybody is commenting that it's really awesome.
So nice.
Very.
It's all due to DP Singh sir.
Ji.
I want to give credit to him.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So there's a question that is autism and cerebral palsy fall under a category of congenital disability?
I am not master in this sort of things. I just take the how they should be educated. But rather, I would like to involve Dr. Datta for it.
Yes, sir. We'll take these questions from him. There was a question. I'm just finding it. One of our participants wanted to know that to teach a special child, what sort of education and insights they need to learn about the disabilities so that they can handle the child better.
If you are talking about the courses, there are a number of courses, RCI has launched. Hundreds of courses are there and specific to the disability. So now it's a very good opportunity for us that there are books available from all over the world, and even Swayam is doing it. I have not seen really many courses on Swayam, but will be in the coming time there will be courses. And there are workshops are being organized throughout the world, and you can go to Coursera, EDX. There are a number of MOOC centers, MOOC platforms where you can learn about special disability workshop, and you can discuss. There's a platform you can join Quora. There are people who will discuss. But one has to learn.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Dr. Ravinder, sir?
Yes.
Yes, and there are two questions for you. Sumanji wanted to ask that they would like to know if autism and cerebral palsy falls under the category of congenital disability.
Cerebral palsy is included in the
congenital disability,
but autism is not. Currently, there are three major theories which has been proposed. One is infection during the pregnancy, and second is the trauma to the mother during pregnancy, and third is during perinatal period, the environment, or maybe there are some people they are talking about the heavy metal toxicity, or we can say pollution. So these are the things which are adding into the falling into the category of the risk factor, or which are the responsible for autism like conditions.
Okay. Ji, sir. And the second question is, does silence and aggression of children fall under the category of psychological issues or emotional issues?
These are emotional ones.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the insights. And sir, the disabilities you were talking about, 21 types of disabilities. I just wanted to know that particularly when you were talking about 21 disabilities, it was related to special children or overall disabilities?
No, see, special children fall into all these categories.
Okay. And is rheumatoid arthritis and any type of arthritis is also included in the disabilities?
One has to be, see, rheumatoid arthritis as per se is not a disability, but because it interferes with your locomotion, so it can be considered under locomotor or mobility related disability once it start interfering with your day-to-day activities.
Okay,
One
sir.
has to be very clear. See, we have been discussing it at the ministry level also. Some people wanted to include even diabetes as a disability, but the problem is that you have to differentiate between disease and disability.
Disability, yes.
So until unless you are clear about it, so any disease for a short period of time will cause disability, even if it is fever. So you are immobile, you are bedridden, so that becomes disability. But
It's
we
not
define disability when it start interfering your day-to-day activity for a longer period of time.
Gee, sir, the last question for you, that is autism child be able to speak?
See, there are different categories even in the autism spectrum disorder. So some children, they are of a very normal IQ. So some are having extra rather high IQ, and some of which are also loaded with mental retardations. So in case of mental retardation, there will be difficulty. In case of normal and extra IQ people, they are very smart. So they will definitely speak and they can interact. But the thing is, you have to work a lot. This is a really time consuming and very tactful situation where what happened was we did a study on this thing, and there was a group of 100 mothers which was created on WhatsApp, and then they start interacting and then trying to find out the solution for their children. So in that case, most of the times they were able to solve all the problems, except few where a psychologist or a medical professional was supposed to, they interfered and they told what need to be done.
Sir, our participants are just wanted to know that can we have an exclusive webinar on assistive technologies?
Sure, okay, anytime. That is my area, and I would be happy to talk about it anytime. You can have any time, any day, and give me the time for how long you want. We can do it. Even see, because this is a very huge area which we are working now, and it's very close to my heart also. So anytime, whenever you say, I'm available.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your kindness. And one question again we have from Sumanji. Sir, do we have certified creative art therapists or recreational therapists for the betterment of children?
Do we have? Sorry.
Do we have certified creative art therapists or recreational therapists?
Very few, very few. It's very upcoming area, and very few people are there. I know some of them, but it's a very limited number of people who are working in this area. Otherwise, this is a very good area which should be taken up by the people. Coming days, it will be very, hotly pursued also.
Okay, thank you, sir. And is there any age bar for it? People who want to go into this stream or in this field, those who want to be certified creative art therapists or recreational therapists, क्या इसकी कोई age bar है?
I don't think so. There should not be any bar, age bar.
Okay, sir.
Anybody can learn it.
Thank you, sir. And thank you so much, sir, for your kindness and इतनी देर आप हमारे साथ बने रहे. One question I have for Dr. Gaurav Datta ji. Dr. Gaurav ji, आप मुझे सुन पा रहे हैं?
हाँ जी मैम, यस मैम.
जी सर, आपकी जो प्रेजेंटेशन चल रही थी तो अखिल वर्मा जी जानना चाहते थे आपने इस एरिया में वर्किंग के लिए बेसिक इमोशंस आपके क्या थे, जो आप इतने आगे आ गए इस एरिया में?
हाँ, देखिए, अगर मुझसे कोई मेरा इस फील्ड में एक्सपीरियंस पूछे तो मैं ये बोलूँगा कि लास्ट 12 to 13 ईयर। और अगर मुझसे ओवरऑल एक्सपीरियंस इंटेलेक्चुअल डिसेबल बच्चों के साथ पूछा जाए तो मैं ये कहूँगा कि मैं अपने जन्म से ही, बर्थ से ही बच्चों के साथ वर्क कर रहा हूँ। एक्चुअली मेरे बड़े ब्रदर प्रोफाउंड कैटेगरी से इंटेलेक्चुअल डिसेबल्ड और लोकोमोटर डिसेबल थे, इसलिए मुझे इस फील्ड में आना था और इसीलिए मुझे इस फील्ड ने चुना। आज बच्चों के लिए इस फील्ड में इसी वजह से है क्योंकि हमने उन्हें फील किया है, महसूस किया है शुरू से, स्टार्टिंग एज से। और अवेयरनेस की बहुत कमी थी उस समय में, लेकिन अब लगता है कि जितनी अवेयरनेस हम कर सके स्टार्टिंग एज में, अगर हम बच्चों के साथ बहुत कुछ कर सकें तो इसमें बच्चों की बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छी प्रोग्रेस आ सकती है। ये बोझ नहीं हो सकते हमारे लिए कभी, नहीं, मुझे नहीं लगता कि कोई भी बच्चा हमारे लिए कभी बोझ हो सकता है। वो बहुत अच्छे से आपको भी हैंडल कर सकते हैं, अपने आप को भी कर सकते हैं। इसीलिए हमें बहुत स्टार्टिंग एज से उनको समझना है, उनके साथ वर्क करना शुरू करना है।
नाइस, राइट सर। आई थिंक देयर वहां पर एक एकता और अपनापन और प्यार की बेहद जरूरत है।
जी।
एंड सर, आई वुड लाइक टू नो समथिंग अबाउट द स्पेशल एजुकेशन जो आपका रिसर्च सेंटर है तपोवन कॉलेज, उसके बारे
तपोवन
में
कॉलेज।
शेयर कीजिए प्लीज सबके साथ। वहाँ आपके पास कितने ऐसे बच्चे हैं एंड हाउ यू ब्रिंग देम अप?
तपोवन 1991 से स्टार्ट हुआ था और लगभग 5-6 बच्चों के साथ ये एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन शुरू किया गया था। आज ये बहुत बड़े एनजीओ के रूप में स्थापित है। यहाँ पे लगभग 150 के आसपास बच्चे यहाँ पर स्टडी कर रहे हैं, जो सभी डिसेबल्ड हैं, मल्टीपल डिसेबल्ड भी हैं, इंटेलेक्चुअल डिसेबल्ड भी हैं, जिसमें से 60 to 70 रेजिडेंशियल हैं। और इसके अलावा हम लोग थैलेसीमिया के बच्चों के साथ भी वर्क कर रहे हैं और सेरिब्रल पल्सी के साथ भी हम लोग वर्क कर रहे हैं, चाइल्ड लाइन के साथ भी हम लोग वर्क कर रहे हैं। तो बहुत सारे स्ट्रीम्स में हम बच्चों के साथ वर्क कर रहे हैं और ये जो पूरा सिस्टम है, जो पूरा यूनिट है, ये फ्री ऑफ द कॉस्ट है। ये किसी भी, कोई भी बच्चा अगर आपको स्टार्टिंग एज में आइडेंटिफाइड होता है जो डिसेबल्ड हो, तो उसे आप तपोवन में भेज सकते हैं, इसके कोई चार्जेस नहीं है। उन बच्चों के लिए स्टार्टिंग एज से फ्री ऑफ द कॉस्ट वर्क किया जाता है उन बच्चों के साथ में।
जी, थैंक यू सो मच सर, थैंक यू जी
वेलकम मैम।
फॉर योर
वेलकम।
वैल्यूएबल टाइम। रविंदर सर, आप हैं हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए? रविंदर सर, डॉक्टर रविंदर जी, डॉक्टर रविंदर जी।
Yes, madam. Yes, yes, yes.
हाँ जी, सॉरी सर, देयर इज अगेन कनेक्टेड क्वेश्चन, रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन था that do we have any organization which provides courses for these therapists?
Art therapist.
Yes sir.
I think this is covered under psychology, and it is up to the student to choose it. And one area, I think it is this also is doing it, and there might be another institutes. So I exactly don't know, but I think all those who are doing clinical psychology, they can. There it is up to the student to pick it up.
And same related question sir, ki who aspire to be creative art therapist in India?
Who aspire?
Yes, to be creative art therapists in India.
You mean eligibility?
Yes sir, कौन बन सकते हैं? Who are eligible to be? Anybody.
Anybody. There is no nothing like it that you need something for some basic knowledge.
Then again, they're asking if we want to contact any experts in these recreational and creative art therapies in India, whom we can approach.
I will try to find it out from TIS and other places, and I'll let you know. Maybe give me time.
Ji sir, sure. We can then coordinate and we can get connected to you.
Sure. I'll do that.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
And I think with this, we are finished with the question answers. Thank you everyone for the cooperation and contribution, for the patient listening and the speakers जिन्होंने इतने अच्छे से आज का presentation और topic के साथ justice किया है. And I would like to invite Dr. Sadhana Tyagi ji, editor Chetna Journal. I call you for the vote of thanks. Dr. Sadhana Tyagi ji. On behalf of FCRS, I invite you for the vote of thanks.
Hi, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, we are able to hear you. Yes, please continue.
Hello, everyone. I, Dr. Sadhana Tyagi, on behalf of Chetna International Journal of Education, extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to the Honorable President of Federation of Community Radio Station, Shri Yashwant Patil ji, and extend my vote of thanks to Sister B.K. Jayanti, Dr. Ravinder Singh ji, Dr. Gaurav Datta ji, Dr. Vijay Grover ji, and Dr. V.K. Sareen, host, Dr. D.P. Singh ji, and you, Karamjeet. We extend our heartfelt thanks to you also. All of you blessed us with your presence and we took your valuable time from your busy schedule. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for D.P. Singh ji also, who is coordinating and conducting all these webinars from last 2. This is, I think, 5th day. So thanks everyone. This was very informative and knowledgeful webinar. Everyone, and thanks participants. Without you, it is not possible. Thank you.
Of course, everyone and anyone, everyone is important. एक कड़ी में जुड़े हुए सभी लोग ही बहुत अहमियत रखते हैं. And thanks to all our esteemed speakers of today's session. It was very informative, very factual deliberations. And Dr. Reena Tiwari ji is giving special thanks to all the speakers. Thanks to D.P. Singh ji, FCRS team, and Sadhana ma'am. Special thanks to Dr. Ravinder sir. आपकी वजह से बहुत सारी queries सबकी clear हुई हैं आज. And even I got many queries cleared. Thank you everyone for this wonderful session we had today. Stay home, stay safe, stay connected. हंसते रहिए, मुस्कुराते रहिए, और सबके जीवन में खुशियाँ spread करते रहिए. Thank you so much. Namaste.